Michael Weiser is Mike the Gun Guy.
Hello again, this is Mike Weiser, Mike the Gun Guy, with my second video that I'm going to try and explain to fellow gun owners what non-gun owners do and don't know about guns. Let's start with a discussion of the Second Amendment. The truth is that people who don't own guns probably have no idea what the Second Amendment says and couldn't care less. All they know is that whenever anything bad happens with a gun owners jump up and down and say, you can't take away our Second Amendment rights. But what exactly are those Second Amendment rights? Basically, what the courts have decided is that the Second Amendment means that no law that can be passed that takes away from the average American the ability to own and purchase and possess a gun. And by average American, what we mean are Americans between the ages of 18 for long guns and 21 for handguns, other than people who the government has decided fall into various categories of prohibited persons, felons, mental incapacity, and so forth. Wait a minute, you say. How can the government give you a right on the one hand and then restrict its use on the other? Because the truth is there are no unrestricted rights in the Constitution. If there were, you could stand up and yell fire in a theater. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to make any kind of backdoor argument to take away or restrict guns. I'm simply saying that if you get into a discussion with a non-gun owner and start telling him about your God-given rights to have a gun or carry a gun or do anything else with a gun, he's going to stare you in disbelief, because that's not what the Constitution's all about. We have forever recognized the right to self-defense, but we've always defined and limited the manner in which people can defend themselves, because if we gave people the unrestricted authority to decide how to defend themselves, it could lead to feud. And we have always agreed that it is government ultimately that keeps the peace and therefore can decide how individuals can or cannot respond to a threat. And what the 2008 decision said was that it's one thing to be able to defend yourself, it's another thing to be able to use a gun. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that gun control laws work. I'm not saying that you can't defend yourself better with or without a gun. I'm simply saying that if you think for any second that people are going to agree with you that government is not playing the primary role in deciding how and when we can defend ourselves, you're thinking something which simply is not true, and you better figure out how to rethink that whole argument, or you won't get very far in trying to explain to people why guns are important to you.
You can read Mike Weiser's blog at the Huffington Post, or you can visit him at his own website at www.mikethegunguy.com. This has been a Yankee Remedy production.